This episode contains mentions and discussion of sexual assault. If that is a topic you do not wish to hear about, please do listen to any of our other episodes. Thank you. Hello, this is Taha.
This is Anaina,
This is Movie Masala.
and we're here to yap at you about films we watched recently.
And today we're doing Sorry Baby.
You live over there.
Oh, yes, I live there. Oops.
That's okay. Sweet dreams, Gavin. God bless your lost soul, and have a good night.
It's nice to meet you, Liddy.
Me too. He's cute. Who?
You're fucking him.
No, I'm not.
You're fucking your neighbor.
No, I'm not.
So this film has come out of Cannes, where it was nominated for the grand jury, but it did win the screenwriting award. At Cannes, it was also nominated for a few awards, and it's basically hitting the award circuit. It's getting buzz, right? And I was like, okay, I'm excited to see this.
Sure.
And then the more interesting thing to me was also that it's written, directed, and stars Eva Victor. And whenever there's like a written stars and direct thing, I always get a bit like, is this like a passion project, or is this like someone who cannot find anyone else to do this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a valid doubt to have because it's a 50-50. You're so right. Which one did this turn out to be?
This turned out to be very much the other thing, where it turned out to be definitely maybe a passion project. I've not looked into like Eva Victor's like personal things with any of the subject material. But one thing I want to say is, before I start, I think it's better to go into this film a bit blind, because of when the whole main event of the film happens. It's a really good way of showcasing that. And I think it does hit you like a ton of bricks, very much so, if you're caught unaware. And I think it's a good, solid film. You will enjoy it. If that's persuading you enough, I would suggest you go in blind.
I mean, yeah, it persuades me that the film is written well.
Yes, 100%. I will come to the writing and cinematography specifically. That being warned, what this film basically is about is Agnes, played by Eva Victor, who gets sexually assaulted by her college advisor, right? Basically, that's kind of it, but that's also me underselling you what it is, right? The film doesn't open with this. The film opens with the aftermath. The film opens with Agnes living by herself when her friend Liddy, who played by Naomi Ackie, who you might know from Mickey 17, who played Mickey's girlfriend. I also remember her very distinctly from Blink Twice, which she was really good in as well. Naomi Ackie doing some really good things.
Really great stuff. I distinctively remember her.
Exactly. So Naomi Ackie comes to visit her, and it's that where the film really starts. And you're not sure what happened, but you can see their friendship very much is the highlight of the film. It's also the center of the film. But you can see how Agnes is now. Like you can, and this is your introduction to Agnes, who's a reserved person who really likes her friend, but is not a very like jubilant person, I might add, or like a very like expressive person, let's say, right?
Sure.
And before Naomi leaves, there's this conversation where Agnes goes like, don't worry, I'm not gonna kill myself. You don't need to worry about that. I'm not there right now. Maybe last year, definitely the year before, but not now. And then the film cuts. And then it goes like the year with the bad thing. Their title cards will tell you what year it is, but not what year it is. Just gives you like an understanding of where you are.
Sure.
And then you see a very different Agnes. Not, I wouldn't say maybe, let's say very different, but you see a different Agnes. You see an Agnes who's much more like, has more of a pep in her step. That's such a boomer way of saying it, I guess. But that's the only thing that came in my head.
No, but I get what you mean. There's like a certain jovialness to her.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for having the better words. But like she's with these people, with like this cohort who are all doing like their dissertation. I think they're doing a postgrad, right? And with their advisor. And you can clearly tell that Eva's not only really good at what she does, but she gets along with like her advisor really well. And then Naomi does make a joke of like, oh, I think you should fuck him. What if he wants to fuck you? And then she goes like, I'll politely decline. And this is also the moment where it's such a good joke where Naomi goes like, oh, men, I don't even look at men when I fuck them anymore. I just close my eyes and imagine women.
Oh.
And then Agnes goes like, do you want to talk about that? Talk about what? Nothing.
That's funny. That's really funny.
So, and I think this is something that comes across throughout the film, where it can really effectively switch from being funny to dark to just not upsetting, but just reflective and like just sitting, making you sit with the emotions it has. And I think it's really effective at this, right? And then, like, again, the way it also showcases what happens. Agnes goes
Mm-hmm.
through like her advisor's house. The camera's outside, it never goes in with her. Cuts to night, she comes out, and the camera just goes into a full handheld view. And this is done throughout the where the camera stays still when Agnes is relatively safe. But that doesn't mean Agnes feels like safe. It's just the camera telling us she's okay. Don't worry. But when it's in hand, it's much more she
Okay.
feels afraid, or like there is actual much more danger to the situation. Not every time, but I think this is a camera tactic that is employed much more, which I was very effective. It also like holds you and stops you and just makes you like anxious about what's going to happen in the best possible way. Like in some ways a tactic, I think it borrows from horror but not necessarily executes it in the same way. There's not a jump scare to be had. It's just much more of like anticipation, especially knowing, because it drops hints of what's happening, so it builds on the anticipation in your own head.
Yeah.
So I think it's when that whole incident happened, you see that switch for Magnus and how it permeates throughout. And I think the film also, as it goes through, highlights how different institutions, different people, even despite sometimes deliberately and sometimes very non-deliberately, like make the whole ordeal for her worse. Like the doctor who talks about it
Mm.
in such a,
Clinical.
he talks about it in a very clinical and also dismissive tone.
Oh, like a blasé tone.
Yeah, exactly. And how when she's doing jury duty, she can't say the thing because she doesn't want to share it, but it does influence how she views. So it, and like how small things here, how the college goes, like we can't do anything really because he left the college before you filed anything. So, and it's like again, in some places
Ah,
it's not necessarily someone doing something, but it's someone saying things, adding things, like those college people going like, but we understand we are women. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know. And here again, more to add to this, I think my perception as someone born a guy, very different. Someone who's never been ever afraid of something like this very much, like so as a privilege, right? I think it did something that I think promising young women did for me as well, which was
mm-hmm.
open me up to like understand very much in a very personal way how experiences like this can shape people and how they deal with it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because of how personal it feels, like there's a really good line where she's talking to this person and she goes like, sometimes I feel guilty when I think about it, and sometimes I feel guilty when I don't think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also the line where she goes like, I'm not sure how bad it is, but I think it's very bad because of how people look at me and are afraid for me when I tell them about it. So it's just like how she deals with it. And it talks about so many aspects, like the way she lives, the way she has sex. It just permeates in so many ways throughout her. And even though this person leaves, this
I
person is
think
not there. Yeah, yeah, go on.
I think from what you're saying, it sounds like it's like trying to represent this whole kind of scenario and incident and circumstance in a very realistic way, and like including its consequences and what goes on afterwards. And like as a result of that realisticness, it brings up all sorts of emotions like frustration with like bureaucratic systems, like you were saying with the college, but then also like the same kind of helplessness she's feeling, because when you're also like, yeah, I mean, these two things are existing at the same time. How does anyone comes to terms with that? Which is really interesting and like really difficult for a film to do.
Yeah, exactly. It encompasses so many things while feeling so personal. It feels so evocative and large, basically, because of how large it feels for this person. And it's also, again, coming back to how Eva Victor plays it. I think she does a really, really good job in selling you all of this. And I think, again, it's also in terms of, like I said, the writing is really good, where it is able to recall so many things. It's able to shape it. Again, this is not my original thought. I didn't do this analysis. But someone on Letterboxd did such a good thing of like how her dissertation is used, where at first it's just something she goes out into the world, and after that whole ordeal happens, she puts it on her windows because she doesn't want to be seen, and how she uses it to hide then, and like how the layers happen there. And I think that's such a good point. That's done so well, you know?
Yeah.
So I think the writing is very smart. And even for something so small, it just puts in so much care and thoughtfulness in how it does it.
Yeah.
And again, very lastly, just I think the relationship between Eva and Liddy are also is really nice. It's really good, like female friendship, the way they love for each other, care for each other. You can see it, and yeah, I think my only little things with this is there's a character played by Kelly McCormack called Natasha, who is weird. I get the point of the character. I just felt the character took me out of the film much more because I'm like, why are you so off? What is wrong with you? Why are you
I
so
see.
weird?
Okay, yeah, I get that.
She feels like the movie. She makes the movie feel weirder than it is just by existing, just by her demeanor. I think she's played really well. It just feels like she's in maybe the wrong film or like tonally a bit off to me.
Okay.
And I think sometimes the pacing for me didn't work. I felt the film, I wasn't sure where like certain sections of the film were going. And that sometimes is fine. But when you, for like a long chunker, like I don't know where this is going, this just feels a bit meandering, then it starts to
Yeah.
feel a bit like longer than it should be. But honestly, it's not a long film. It's an hour, 45 minutes. And it's such a personal, well-made film in such a small but like important way that I think it's very much worth a watch.
Yeah, I mean, you've definitely convinced me to watch it whenever I can.
So yeah, those are our thoughts. Thank you for tuning in. This podcast is produced solely by us with musical assets from Pixabay. If you enjoyed this, please do share it. See you again next time.
Bye-bye.